Welcome on But Developer channel. My name is Dima. I'm working on a large web project for musicians, and in this video I'm going to talk about how to store files, and I pay special attention to work with images. The solutions I will show do not depend on the framework or programming language, but closely related to the front end. So this video will be useful for everyone, and you personally can also be useful for everyone. As you know, Russia is a terrorist state that creates a problem for the whole world, and Russians try to kill me and everyone who I know and love. But it can be stopped. You can help stop Russia. Please support Ukraine's project. Support Ukraine volunteer organizations. And do not believe Russian propaganda. Your support can save my life and millions of innocents' lives. Thank you. I will start with a golden rule of file storage. You should never save files on the server where you deploy your application. If the project worked with files, save files to S3 storage. Simple storage service. Please do not use local storage on the server. S3 is a million times more reliable, much more cheaper, much more optimized. Use local storage only when you work locally. Use S3 even on the stage servers. And if you try to Google what S3 is, first of all you will find Amazon S3 service, and you will not be able to estimate how much money you will spend on it. A little bit clear, but the same with Azure S3 services. This is a trick of big companies to make more money, and here you should know there are a lot of S3 services. There are very cheap ones and with a very clear pricing policy. And of course, if you need, you can host your own self-hosted S3 services. But please make sure that the service you have choose has S3 compatible API support. First of all, it is allow you to use all packages that support Amazon Web Service S3 storage functionality. In any package, when you should enter Amazon S3 service credentials, just set your credential to your S3 service. All should work fine. And of course, you can migrate from one S3 service to another. So don't be afraid to ditch the tech giants. You can switch to them whenever you want. With local storage on the server, any migration is hell, and the price per gigabyte of storage is much higher. And of course, no CDN and additional load on the server when requesting static files. So always use S3 services. Next tip, users will upload the same files many times. If you have a media project like I tried to create, for example, you will save the same relevant meme picture thousands of times. And yeah, it is not a big problem when you use S3 services, but this creates a problem for caching on the client. For example, some meme picture inside comments can be downloaded many times because it is multiple saved the same file, and that is not okay. So when you upload some file, store file data inside a database, it is a normal practice, but only store SHA-512 hash of file content. This hash will be unique for file, no matter of file name or metadata. And everyone, when you try to save file, just check if exists in database, simple return old uploaded file and skip new saving. That's all. And personal tip, try to not save files when you send some forms. It is very complex and you will create a duplicate anytime when you want to save form with file. It is a lot of form using files in a regular projects. It is very complex to implement this logic inside frontend and inside backend. It is very complex to test those API methods. It is very complex to describe those API methods in OpenAPI, for example, and you over and over should duplicate code, thinking what to do when something goes wrong and you need to roll back database, and etc. and etc. My recommendation is create minimum count of API methods for file uploadings, isolated in separated module, and save files when user uploaded before form saving. Return some identifier to file record inside database, and simple attach file to entity when we save form, or detach if we save empty values. It is much more simple inside frontend and inside backend, but sometimes you will receive files that do not belong to anything. Here we got some options. We can skip it and do not anything with those files, or we can create scheduler command for remove those files. For example, remove file if 5 do not belong to some entity for some time, for example. And the best option, in my opinion, make some functionality, gallery or attachment functionality for user, where user can manage files which are loaded with it. This functionality depends on the needs of your project. And a couple of words about security. If your file can contain personal data, sensitive data if you want, make your S3 storage protected and create proxy method inside your backend solution and return file only if user have access to it. And of course you can use protected and public S3 storage at once. And please use a random naming of files. Do not use user ID, username or slug inside file names. Not necessary user. It could be some secret entity. I don't know, project name. It is important if someone gain access to your storage. You will not be able to prove that a file belongs to an entity. For project, for user and etc. and etc. The same issue with folder names. And now let's talk about images. Front-end developers should know that usually the image has higher size in the web page. We can spend our life for optimize JavaScript, minimize, use chunking and etc. But one middle-size PNG image easily broke our page optimization. That's why front-end developers use picture HTML tag or attribute src set inside image, but I like picture better. First of all, picture allow us to load different images for different media queries. We can load a big image for your TV screen and small tiny image for your smartphone, saving your traffic and speed up page load time. Also, we can use picture for load different image formats. PNG is very heavy, JPEG is lighter, WebP much more lighter, and AVIF is lighter than WebP. But AVIF have a problem. AVIF requires a lot of resources to decode, so AVIF can download it faster, but need much more time for decode this format. And that's why AVIF format didn't become a standard. And many developers skip it. I'm going to skip too, at least for now. Also, picture tag allow us use DPI settings, but it is not actual for me. If you try to create Instagram copy, you should know about this. And except these cases, we can have the same images, but with different sizes. It depends on functionality of our application. And frontender usually optimize all images that they have, but backend developers don't care about this, even when most of the images come from the backend. Here we got thoughtful solution. We can crop our images and resize it when image uploaded and return to the frontend optimized images. And it will work. It is a normal solution inside enterprise projects. One recommendation here, save original image. But with this solution you are not ready for redesign or for new image format. I don't know, JPEG, XL for example. And now the right solution. We can resize image, add some filters and change format on the fly. And we have many services that can do it. My choice, go to the Thumbor. But this is not fundamental. The main criteria is that service should work with S3 and has URL tampering protection. And optionally use S3 as cache storage. A few words about the cache. Most services declare that caching is not necessary because image processing are very fast. But I believe that S3 storage is cheaper than server capacity. And it is better to fill the storage a little than to fall down from some slingshot effect. For the same reason, I believe that Nginx cache is not an option. And if I understood everything correctly, we enjoy all advantages of the CDN. The first request go to Thumbor, generate an image, and all other redirect it to S3, so cache to S3 very important. And I can demonstrate. I have loaded a simple image, JPEG image, and open this image with image resizer service. In my case it is localhost and 48 port. And for demonstrate I want to change sizes and format 300 by 200 and WebP. And as you can see I have much more smaller image. If I change height inside URL I can get biggest image on demand. And if I try to save this image you can see I have a WebP format, not JPEG. So all good or work. Now we can get this URL to frontend and frontend can generate any images that they need. No, please do not do this. Imagine that I am your unfair competitor. Look at your website, look on unsave word inside URL, spend 5 minutes and write a loop. This loop go to your website and create images from 1 to 1 million pixels width and from 1 to 1 million pixels height. And that's all. I'm just waiting for your budget to go to S3 or for AWS services, or just looking for your dead website. And I see this mistake very often. You should know that search sites are based only on their relative unpopularity. This attack has a name, URL tampering, and you should have protection from URL tampering. And it is very easy protection. We should get settings URL part with URL, with heights and etc. Make hash with some k and replace unsafe string inside URL to this hash. And of course k should be set up inside settings of Thumbor service. As you understand, k is private and sacred. We should not send it to frontend. We should discuss with frontend developers what sizes do we need and return it. I use a ready-made package for this and believe for your programming language it should exist. And I create a very simple service, send image as parameter, and simple add media queries and expected image width. Height will be changes proportional. And method getSource will return all sources what I need. I'm going to use this service inside JSON resources, and when someone try to manually change some URL, service will return page not found exception. And one little rule here: if you have many different sizes of image, use different JSON resources. Do not make a mess inside JSON resources, please. And here you should say, man, what about format? JPEG, AVIF and etc. Why you not describe it? It's because I have a little hook of Thumbor service. Thumbor can automatically generate format of image based on HTTP accept header. If HTTP accept header contains image WebP, we generate WebP or JPEG or AVIF, no matter. And if we got many accept images, Thumbor has priority. WebP has top priority. So yeah, now we can skip type inside picture tag and use only media query. And we should talk about a GIF format. Usually we use GIF for some animation, some funny meme. And we should not convert GIF because we want to save animation. Thumbor know about it and do not convert it. But when we use GIF inside avatar or as thumbnail of some entity, animation can simply break your design. And in this case, Thumbor has a filter named cover. When we use cover filter, we do not load all GIF, but load first color of animation. And it is a good solution for avatar and etc. And if we talk about optimization and we want to use GIFs, Thumbor allow us to convert GIFs to video files. We should run video files on repeat, and it is much more better for optimization because video file not downloading video file using stream download, and web browser do not wait when all files will download it. And of course, of Thumbor setup is a small Docker container with some configuration for local development, because container cannot see something from host but should have an access to static files from Nginx server. You can find all code by the link in description. Support Ukraine, optimize your images. Thank you.